All right, so this is take two of this video. The last video I made turned into this like 20-minute thing, and I was like, no, 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 we don't have enough time for that. So I got this comment on YouTube from Ara, and he says, man, just found you on YouTube here when was surfing for various modular techno stuff, and damn, you are inspiring as a musician, and as I can tell from some of your vids, you're nice and open as a person. Found some new modules in your videos. I'm gonna try in my setup. Thanks for that. Subs, gonna watch your vids, and you've produced a lot, and wish you the best. So I really appreciate this comment, Ara. Much appreciation. And yeah, it just kind of sparked off like just thinking about, well, why am I sharing with everybody and I guess nice about it. And just recently, I sent a care package to one of my college professors, who I haven't seen in a really long time. Actually, it's probably been about 8 years. But yeah, I'm not here to toot my own horn or anything. But the reasons why I'm open to sharing and I'm nice about it are based on experiences, good and bad. So things have happened that have shaped like how I do things, and yeah, I just want to share with other people just to be helpful at the end of the day. But I want to tell you about this college professor. His name is Dr. John Ginwright. He's a professor over at Troy University, and the man is like a genius when it comes to piano and I guess just music in general. Like, he plays a lot of instruments. He teaches a lot of different things. And on top of all that, he's an incredibly generous and nice person. And so I just wanted to share some things that he's done, and it's kind of like a lesson all wrapped up in there. But cool. So just to tell you a little bit about him, he's a piano player. I think he played vibraphone as a percussionist, like jazz vibes and stuff. You go in his office, there's like CDs just like stacked up everywhere, sheet music all over the place. Like, yeah, it's pretty heavy for him. But one of the most incredible things that I witnessed him do is they'd have these weekly student recitals, and he would get these pieces of music like the day of and just open it for the first time and glance through it real quick and then go play this piece. And we're talking about like some really hard music. It's not like it's not like easy music, and it's like piano music, right? And I don't know if you've played piano before, but reading sheet music on piano is literally like, for me, it's like, okay, well, that's a C. All right, where's C? Okay, and then we got a E. Okay, there's E right there. And like this dude's doing it like 10 notes at a time, super fast. Yeah, so like super mad genius skills on the piano. And he was into a lot of stuff too. Like, he's very interested in music, and yeah, it was evident by like what he was bringing to class and showing us. But I have a list of things that he did for me personally. I'm going to go through them real quick. I'm trying not to get long-winded about it. So one of the things is he taught music theory in a really lighthearted, fun way. I had Music Theory 1 with him. And one of the things that stuck out was he was going over chord inversions. And so, I don't know, I guess we were having a hard time or something, but he was just like, okay, look, so you have a C, E, G chord, which is just C major chord, and he drew it on the board like this, right? 3 circles. And he's like, okay, if you want to go in first inversion, you're just going to flip up that bottom note like a pancake. And then he drew it up top, and he's like, okay, now you're in first inversion. And we were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so like every time I needed to do a chord inversion, I would just flip it up like a pancake. And then, he's like, if you do the next one, you're in second inversion. And, the only note that matters is the one on the bottom to tell you which inversion you're on. So it was kind of like a difficult concept to understand, and because there's like numbers that go with it. It's like 5, 3, 6, 4. Yeah. And so it just made it really easy to understand. So that just gives you an idea of like, he was super mad genius, but could also relate concepts very easily. So what else? So he let me borrow his PA just at a moment's notice. I was like, hey, I'm doing this university event and I need a PA. Can you help me? Do you know where I can get one? And he's like, well, school has one, but oh, just take mine. So he just like gives me his PA to take, it was a powered mixer and some Yamaha Club SV speakers. I think it's been a while. Yeah, so at least a couple grand worth of stuff. And he just like, yeah, take it. This is how you hook it up. Cool, have fun. Not a big deal. One other thing, one of the classes I had, I don't know if it was film scoring or whatever, but it was just like one day he's like, okay, let's go to the studio. Check out this synthesizer I got. And he brought it in. It was a Alesis Ion. We had no clue, man. And we were just like, okay, he's like, turn these knobs and press the keys. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. This sounds like this is neat, Something else he did is I couldn't afford it at the time, but I needed a 1/4 inch to XLR cable. And I was like, hey, do you have one I can borrow? He's like, no, but come to my office, after this class or whatever, and we'll make you one. I was like, okay, that's awesome. So go to class. I go to his office, and he's like, okay, here's the connector. Here's this connector. Hold those. Look at those real quick. Here's the wire. He splices, he cuts the wires, strips them or whatever. And then he solders this cable right in front of me, and he's like, okay, I have this chart here. Look at this chart. So this goes here, positive, positive, negative, negative, ground, blah, blah, blah. And he makes this cable right in front of me and hands me the cable. It's like, okay, cool, have fun. I'm like, thank you. Thanks, Dr. Dinnerite. What else? I had a really hard time in college. I was kind of caught in the middle of some transitions and a growing program. So a lot of things weren't set in stone, and like I'm getting told one thing and this other thing is happening. Professor's leaving, a new professor comes in, changes everything, and I'm getting screwed over in the process. But I was able to just go to him and just talk to him and tell him what's going on. He's like, yeah, I know this isn't supposed to be happening this way. And, just I was venting, and in retrospect, there's probably a lot of complaining going on, but, he listened nonetheless and, offered some help and advice and was just like, keep going, you'll get there, and like those talks helped me get through school. I had a really hard time with that. So I'm forever grateful for that. And so the whole point of all these little stories is that, the things that he did were like little tiny stones, like little stones thrown into a lake, into a pond. And it created ripples. And over time, those ripples became waves in my life. As you know, I'm super into synthesizers. We got modular stuff happening and like still learning and expanding on that. I became a DJ, DJ'd corporate weddings, like $100,000 weddings, like no problem. Got into vinyl, learned how to mix vinyl and scratch. Been scratching with guys out here, like, all these little acts of kindness have they've been like support, along the way. What if I couldn't get a PA and I couldn't play that event? Maybe I would just gave up on DJing. I don't know. I don't know. But and same thing with like, what if I didn't have anybody to talk to about the problems I was having in school? Would I have quit? Maybe I would be stuck and never finish the bachelor's in music. You just never know. But all the things that he did were kind, understanding, and supportive. And those actions have all made huge differences in my life. And I hope that when I help other people or someone comes to me and they need help or advice or, whatever, that I can do the same thing and pass on, make ripples in their life, or just to be nice or just help people, So that's kind of like, it's just like paying it forward is what was happening with that. It also comes with being a teacher. You want the best for your students. Like good teachers want the best for their students. And yeah, cool. So the next thing is, I guess it seems like I'm a very nice person. Sorry, not very nice. I'm a nice person. And yeah, I try to be as nice as I can. Like I'm excited for electronic music and techno, and like I'm excited when other people are excited about it, and I'm happy to help and facilitate anybody. And there's no other way to be than to be nice about it, right? Am I gonna be like, no, you shouldn't get this synthesizer. You should get this, and just be mean about it. It's like, no, no, no. But one, baby's crying. Some of the reasons that I've had a lot of bad things happen, or just like not great things, things didn't go the way I thought they would. And, I know how it feels to be someone and sending a record label something that you've worked on and not hear anything back. I know what it's like to send emails, and not hear a response, and just wonder, like, is the company too big? Like, is it me? Did I do something wrong? Am I lacking something? I just don't like that feeling. If you say something stupid in a crowded room and nobody says anything, that's almost worse than someone be like, that's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, okay, that guy's weird. But they don't tell you that. And they're just like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. And I don't want people to feel that way, because it's not good. Like, I know what it's like to be alone in what you do, and the environment isn't conducive to that thing, whatever it is. So, for example, for me and techno, like, I don't know why I like techno so much. I didn't grow up in Europe. I wasn't around club music. I didn't listen to club music growing up. But when I got Fruity Loops in middle school, like, that's the first thing I did was make a techno beat. And I was like, why am I making a techno beat? I don't know. And yeah, and so, like, I've just lived in areas where there's no techno, there's no electronic music. It's like there's so many opposing forces, but here we are making techno and just doing it and loving it. And yeah, it doesn't matter like where we're at. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know what it's like to be alone, and I will say that, like, I've been the weird guy in the room, like, I've been kind of awkward. I was talking to, I don't know if I should say. So I was talking to this producer, at a educational, they do educational videos for production and stuff. And he was a big producer, had a hit back in the day. Super charismatic and, like, super fit, good looking bro. Like, I mean, I'm just fat, like, weird looking dude. And I'm out in Alabama in the middle of nowhere. And, like, I don't know, like, I was just really weird. I remember being really weird on the phone with the guy, and, like, he was nice about it, but, yeah, I don't know, just being alone and trying to stay true to yourself and to be an artist and to make the music that you want to make and the art that you want to make is, like, I don't know, with all the opposing forces, like, it makes you a little weird, like, I don't know how else to put it. So I've been that guy. I might still be that guy. I'm probably that guy right now in this video. But yeah, so that's another thing, is, like, I want people to feel like they're not alone in this music making journey, whatever it is, whether it's techno or electronic music or noise music, weird music, it's all valid. It's all important. Just because people listen to classical music and pop music and study music and they listen to all this stuff, that doesn't mean that noise music is not valid. It doesn't mean that techno is any less musical than these other genres and stuff. Like, it's all important, and it all matters on the space-time continuum, of music and the evolution of music. It all matters. So anyway, let's continue on. Sorry, I was getting off on a tangent there. Let's see. Yeah, and so, like, I'm just going to give this one more example. So we started this thing out here called Maui Beat Sessions, and it's a monthly producer gathering. It's basically it was modeled after Low End Theory. That was, like, what I envisioned. I was like, wow, I want to do that, like DiBiase and Flying Lotus and all those guys that, Gaslamp Killer, all those dudes, like, getting together, making beats and people dancing in the record store. Like, that's what we did, was like modeled after Low End Theory and then Rhythm Roulette. So I was able to give producers a voice to come out and share their techniques, share their music, have a set, to a captive audience, like people that are interested in the same thing. And so it became this thing. It was a monthly gathering that's gone on for over 2 years now, I think. Is it 2 years or over 2? It doesn't matter. It's happened for a while. And the reason that came about is because I wanted that and it didn't exist. And so before we got to Maui, I was in Alabama, and there was this crew of DJs and producers, and there was a clothing store, and I could never get in with that crew. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like maybe 5-6 guys, and they had scratch meets, and like I could never get in with the crew. It was just like I had the chops, you know, but it was just so tight knit, you know, that they didn't want anybody else, right? And so like this thing happened where I made this beat, and it was a dope beat, and I know it was dope. And I gave it to this one of the DJs, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play it tonight at this party." They would throw these huge parties. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna throw it at these parties. I'm gonna play it at this party, and you know, like guys are gonna be freestyling and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, perfect." So I came to this event, and waiting, never played it. I was just so like beaten down and upset, like, you know, I put all this work into this music, and like this guy said he was going to do something for me, and he didn't do it. And so like I unfriended him. I was just like blacklisted him. I was like, "Get out of here, man." Like, and I didn't want to make beats anymore. So he ended up getting back to me and contacting me, and I was like, he was actually concerned about me unfriending him. And I was like, "Well, you said you were going to do something, and you said you were going to play this beat, and you didn't do it." And yeah, it really sucks. And so he's like really apologetic and, you know, sorry, come to the next one. I promise I'll play it. And then so when we got the next event happened, he did play it, and he like shouted me out on the mic and stuff. And like, that was much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, just like, but the damage had kind of been done, you know, like I've obviously I forgave him, but like, you know, just being crushed like that. I don't want people to feel like that. And so that's kind of why we started Maui Beat Sessions over here, is because there's people. I was hearing about people that make beats and make music and dig for records and stuff, and yeah. So I was just like, well, let's do something together, you know. And so that's how the monthly gatherings came about. But at the end of the day, it's really just about giving people an outlet. Like, everybody needs an outlet. Any creative person, like, it has to come full circle, right? You have to like be inspired, create something, and then you have to share it. And sharing on the internet is like one thing. Like, it doesn't feel like it counts. But sharing it with real people, and like people that are into it, like, that matters. And just a real quick aside, like, I saw this with kids. Like, when I was teaching, I taught choir in middle school. I was a middle school teacher for a year. Taught music, and I was having a really, really hard time with these kids because a lot of them just got thrown into choir, and like, I wasn't really a singer, but I could put together songs and like, you know, get these songs going and stuff, but I was having a really hard time. And then I was like, "Hey, you know, there's this football game. Let me see if we can go sing the national anthem at this football game." And so then they got a little excited. I was like, okay. And then so we started rehearsing national anthem. You know, everybody's still kind of like, you know, it's okay. But then we got out there and we performed, and like, once they felt the audience like clapping, because I made sure it was good. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was good. Then that's when it like came full circle. And so like that whole process, like, that showed me that yes, as a creative person, as a performer, you have to share your stuff, and then like, you know, the audience, you know, it's that whole thing, right? It just needs all your creativity kind of needs to come full circle. And like, I don't care like if someone's like, "Oh, I just create just to create," and you know, I don't care what other people think. And it's like, well, yes, I understand, but at the end of the day, you know, it does help when people reciprocate and they're just like, "Oh yeah, this is great," you know, like, how can you not feel good about that? Yeah, and so like, from that bad thing that happened to me, where it's just like, soul crushing, you know, something else got life and came of that. And so that's kind of the lesson here. So, yeah, just to round everything out, just if someone comes up to you and they're like, "Oh man, what are you using?" or "How do you do that?" Like, just be open to sharing, and part of it is recognizing that, at one time you didn't know either. And when I say you, I mean me too. Like, I didn't understand this thing or process or how to do this thing or whatever, like plug in modular synthesizers. Like, I had somebody showed me their setup. Scott over at Inside Out Universe showed me his modular setup, and like, he was spitting out all this stuff like, "Oh yeah, I'm using this 4MS ensemble oscillator, and it's going into the make noise mass and this VCA and blah blah blah," and it's just like, all this stuff like going by my head. But he's just like, "Get on Modular Grid, watch videos, watch demos, get some modules." He gave me some modules, and like, that was the start. And so it's blossomed into this thing that I do now. And now, I can converse with him and we can talk about modular. And, it took a while, but, that's just ripples, man. You're just making ripples in other people's lives. And it's not like you're out to make ripples, but, every action has a consequence. And I think, those consequences don't have to be bad. They can be good. I think they can all pretty much be good. So the bad consequences of that is on my wallet. But yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to share that. Thanks again, ARRA. Much appreciation for your comment. I get a comment like that every now and then, and I'm very appreciative of that, and just wanted to say thank you. And yeah, so hopefully this inspires you to be open, to be sharing. Like, there's no secrets anymore. It used to be there's like production secrets and, "Oh, what kind of gear are you using?" And people wouldn't, share anything. But it's not like that anymore. Knowledge is free. So many people sharing good knowledge on YouTube and the internet, articles, magazines, whatever. Like, it's all out there. So you have nothing to gain by holding in stuff. And you have much more to gain by sharing it. So yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully I didn't talk your ear off. It was like 22 minutes. Yeah, I got further along than I did with the other take. But okay. So if anybody has any questions, or if you have an experience and you want to share in the comments, share. I'd love to hear it. Shoot, I mean, we could even like set up a video conference and video it. That'd be awesome. Yeah. All right. Thanks again. See you next time.